Hi, my name is Giselle Ariano. I'm a sophomore in Techniques in Quantitative Analysis, and today we're doing the volumetric flask digital badging. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm putting water in my volumetric flask, and I'm going to close it and rinse the water around as to rinse the volumetric flask. And right now, I left to go dump it in the sink. I am dumping it in the sink right now, making sure that it drains properly so that not a lot of droplets are left behind. I'm currently draining it. Okay, so now I'm back, and as you can see in this close-up, there's not a lot of drops left. So now I'm just drying it a little bit in my paper. And here we go. I'm drying it more just to be safe. No droplets are seen. So I'm just gathering my materials right now off camera. Just getting everything ready. So right now what I'm going to do is, this is the salt from the other experiment of the analytical balance, and I had already quantitatively transferred the salt with water. So there's only a little bit left, and to make sure that I get it all, I'm just going to add more water to the salt and water that was already in there to make it easier to transfer, because it was easier to transfer large quantity of water instead of a little bit for me. So what I'm going to do now is going to open the volumetric flask, and I'm going to now grab a funnel, because it would be very hard to pour in the liquid without this funnel. So right now I'm going to put the funnel on the top of my flask, and I'm going to pour that liquid that contains my 1 gram of salt, and I'm going to pour it into the volumetric flask using the flannel. So one thing about this is that there could be leftover liquid in your beaker, and there could also be liquid that stays on your flask. So just like what we did for the analytical balance, we're going to quantitatively transfer it by rinsing out the beaker, getting all of the liquid that used to be there, and pouring it in the flask. So I'm just going to do this repeatedly to make sure that I get all the liquid that was originally in there. I'm doing it again. You just go around. And you also can notice that some liquid is left behind in the flask. So you're going to do the same thing to the flask. Just go around and wash it with your wash bottle with the water to make sure that you successfully quantitatively transfer your solution of water and salt that you had in the beginning. So I'm getting more materials. So right now I'm going to fill up the wash bottle to nearly full, not completely full, just nearly, and this will be important later on. Here I am filling the volumetric flask. So now, as you can see, it is getting filled. almost to the mark, not yet to the mark. I'm going to keep filling till I get almost there, nearly full. So now, once I feel that it is nearly full, I'm going to take out my funnel and now what I'm going to do is we need to mix it. We need to mix the solution that is in the flask. So what was going to happen now is I'm going to put parafilm on top of the volumetric flask as to close it, and so then I could mix it without worrying that any solution will be coming out. As you can see, it is a little hard to take off the parafilm with my with my gloves. I'm just checking if everything is still intact. So this is just me trying to open the parafilm. And I was struggling, so here's me going over and asking a TA if it is okay if I take off my gloves just for the part of taking off the parafilm. And I had permission, so I took off my gloves, and now I'm going to open the parafilm. Now, even though this is easier, I still am having some trouble. I think because my nails are long, but this part is just me trying to open the parafilm. Still opening, still trying to open. Still opening. And huzzah, I have opened it a little bit to the point where it would be easy now to take it off with my gloves. So now that I have made an opening for me to peel off the parafilm, I am re-putting my gloves on. Now taking the parafilm and peeling it off and stretching it both ways to make it a little bigger than it is, in order for it to make sure that it sticks and goes well with the top of the volumetric flask. So what you do is you place it down and then you pinch one side and you fold, and then you pinch the other side and you fold till it's secure. So now we have the parafilm, and now we can mix our solution. I'm firmly grasping the volumetric flask as to make sure that it is secure when I am mixing it. Now I'm making sure that there's no bubbles, there's no signs of it not being mixed, just making sure. So now what I'm going to do is, looks like I am getting out my pasture pipette. So this is important because now that I've taken off my parafilm, I can now fill it to the appropriate fill line. But since I only filled it nearly, it's going to be very hard to get it without the pasture pipette. So now I'm filling an empty beaker with water. Clean empty beaker. And now I'm using my pipette, resecuring my gloves. I'm going to now use my pipette to fill it the remaining volume. Making sure that it is at the right volume at eye level, not below or above. And here is the close-up of the area to where my volume goes. I realize that the video is cut off in this video software that I'm using, but you can see the top. And that is that is so far the volume at the right level. So what I went to go do was to get another slip of parafilm, again taking off my gloves as I got permission the last time, and this time I got the parafilm a lot faster. So now the purpose of getting another parafilm is to mix the solution more, since I added more volume. Even if it was very little with my pasture pipette, you still have to make sure that it is thoroughly mixed through your volume in your flask. So you're going to use another parafilm to cover the top of the volumetric flask so you can mix it again. I'm still trying to open the parafilm. Now that I have it to the point to where it is easy to completely peel it off, I'm putting on my gloves again. And it is the same process as last time. You're going to peel off the parafilm, stretch it in both directions to make sure that it is going to stick to the top of the flask as well as it can. And now you're going to put it on the top of the parafilm. Again, the same in the same manner as last time, to where you place it down, pinch one side, and fold, pinch the other side, and fold. Which will secure it. So now I'm mixing once again, mixing the solution to make sure everything is even. Also making sure that there are no bubbles. And that was the end of this video. Thank you for watching.